Well, definitely from the South. That's me. I wrote this dealing with the World Trade Center. I wrote it last Monday, and I could not make the Tuesday night in Montgomery to read it, and that's why I'm going to read it tonight. The one thing that I have kept with myself all these years is the reality that I always tried to put myself into those people who lived those last moments. And this piece is entitled 9/11 Twin Towers Remembered. One sad recurrence of this anniversary recalls the true devastating hell of yesteryear. The extreme hate toward our country. To them, the terrorist pilots, coerced mentally and physically to give up their lives, justified the suicidal actions in their taunted minds. They flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center Twin Towers, killing 2,996 occupants, including their plane passengers, this September 11th, 2001. In my office, we had all heard the explosive morning news of what had happened and were still listening for those other sad stories to come. Eva, a fellow office worker, was very distraught, telling us that she had a dear family friend who worked on the upper floors of the towers. I was asked to take her home to be with family during this sad time of revelation. On the road, I tried talking to ease her pain, but realized it was to no avail. She was in that horrific place of realizing loss, and I backed off. Several moments later, her phone then rang. She answered with a soft, hesitant hello. And then there came a scream of joy and uplifting happiness. Her dear family friend had not gone into work this horrendous day. He was alive. Fortunately, there were others who escaped the towers to continue their lives with family and friends, but so many did not. More than 1,000 phone calls were made from the towers and plane passengers to families saying their last words of love and care. Watching news coverage later that afternoon, hearing and seeing those who dove to their deaths from the upper floors, I so wished Eva's exchange to happiness would transpire to at least some of those other 2,996 deaths, but in reality it could not. Researching recently, I saw a video of 2 jumping to their deaths. They were holding hands. For some unknown reason, I felt personally in contact. To this day, 9/11 brings tears to my eyes, as it does to so many others. This next piece is in response to the Hispanic American Heritage Month, and it's entitled Joaquin Sorolla, who was one of their most famous, if not the most famous painter that Spain has ever had. It's entitled Joaquin Sorolla, a Spanish Inspiration. Childhood essence of light and color, Sorolla painted these small figures with a fervor never before accomplished until his time. Naked beauty at coastal's edge, running, playing in tidal waters, doing those immeasurable child pleasures so young and so natural. He captured this imagery with brilliant hues written by the light of day, contrasting those cool, clear sky reflections. Brushstrokes applied with vigorous intensity so captured those gestures of movement and happiness for us all to see these years after. Other paintings of his, larger than life, captured beyond our understanding. Fishermen on board bringing in tunas wet with nature's colors. Women of the period on beaches of sand, skirts flowing from bellowing winds. Simple beauty, magnificently stated. Joaquin Sorolla's direction, a personal thing manifested by his love of Spanish aura and its ties to natural light and the sea. Artistic skills developed early, learning of painting and emotional expression continued down life's path, carrying his world visions to heights seldom if ever reached by others. I learned of this master while studying in Provincetown those years past. Photos of him on the beach I saw, painting 6-foot canvases of figures. He would attack his canvases with vigorous splashes of color, 8 to 10 hours a day. To this day, and those ahead, a true inspiration. This final piece, I like to think of in terms of where we might be headed, and it's entitled Days Ahead. Those rainy days of despair lead us down into the melancholic millennium of life's written story. Chapter after chapter, this broken book unfolds before us as we faithfully fathom what lies next. The cliffs of climbing high into the gorgeous gifts of life are there to be reached ravenously, not always articulated, but outward bound beyond those metaphysical monuments so deeply desired. The text of travel wittingly warrants a holding of human hands, an outreach openly opted to bodies of beauty wherever soft sailing the skies of sanctity. Upward to higher heights, bounding into beautiful blues, our world whispers onward, with hope flying fabulously forward, but taunting truth is dangerously descending into the vast void of venomous bile. Being better believers, we can warrant the wishfulness for greater good. Media mania lessens the totality of truth that we seek as a societal sanctuary for living lives. Life of love needs to be lessened. It can be and will be socially sought after in the doing days ahead. I misread, sorry. Life of love needs not to be lessened. It can be and will be socially sought after in the doing days ahead. We, the previous people, have in hands the captive capability to actively achieve this enduring end. Let us, standing tenaciously together, beckon to begin this rampant ride towards the course of flamboyant freedom. Thank you.